Inside Fort Campbell and not far from Clarksville is one of America's strangest ghost towns, a place called Clarksville Base, where at one time one-third of America's nuclear weapons capability was stored. 50 years ago, unauthorized entry would have gotten you shot, but today you can actually tour the place, and if you're lucky enough to tour it with a guide like John O'Brien of Fort Campbell's Pratt Museum, you can get a good idea of why no one talked about what went on here for decades.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's the guard place we talked about, where the guards were and all the alarms kind of came together at that spot. This was the entrance to the Q area. This area here, to get into it, you'd have to stop here and exchange your A badge for a Q badge. And everybody who worked out here had a top secret Q clearance. And you could not be in this area at all. I mean, this is where the Marines had use of deadly force. Anybody who wasn't supposed to be in here, they could shoot to kill. And has a special set of toolkits so they could load nuclear weapons into those train cars, seal the top, put it on a train that had a crew of couriers and guards with them here. I ran into a guy who just absolutely insisted that the Navy had an attack submarine inside of one of the bunkers.
As fascinating as the above-ground part of the base is, to really get the feel of the place, you have to stop at one of the open bunkers, where nuclear weapons were stored deep underground as protection against the Soviet nukes that had Clarksville Base as a top 10 target.
And all right, let's go in. Perfect temperature for aging Roquefort cheese. It's 54 degrees, 57 degrees. Your security is really strong. First of all, you have to get through this grate, and there were 2 keys, and the security here was the ADT security, back when it was top secret. And then once you got here, here's your electrical panels to turn on the lights. Every place where nuclear material was stored, the door was a die-bolt combination bank bolt with 2 combination locks on it, an A team and a red team. So you couldn't get past this huge door here unless both the Atomic Energy Commission and the Armed Forces Nuclear Weapons Project had sent the authorization for their team members to come in. This is kind of the ante-room here. Once you got through that big vault door, you come into this little ante-room here, and you can see this big blast door here. This black blast door was on jack stands, and so you'd have to jack it up and wheel them back and wheel them. There are 4 storage rooms, and you can see each storage room had its own bank vault with double lock combination on it. Once you got through that, you come into a grill keyed lock door, and we'll go into this little room here. Here's where you can pick up the constant shape of this room. Yep. Okay, and then you can see these lead cases here. These are the cases in which the nuclear pony kegs were kept.
The most amazing part is, if you can get on Fort Campbell, you can stop at the museum and pick up a tour brochure and see it for yourself. From the ghost town of Clarksville Base, this is Philip Gray for the Leaf-Chronicle.